Ethan had never expected his life to change so quickly. He was a pilot, just one of the many humans working in the orbiting space station around the star Nereid. His days were usually spent fixing cargo ships, flying supply runs, or teaching new recruits how to navigate the asteroid belt safely. Life was simple, predictable, and safe. Or so he thought. It all started on a regular Thursday. Ethan was enjoying a cup of synthetic coffee in the station's common area, leaning against the railing that overlooked the glowing panels of the docking bays. Ships of every shape and size floated in silent orbit, their lights twinkling against the dark expanse of space. He liked this view. It reminded him of how small the universe was and how small humans were in comparison, yet somehow, humans always found a way to matter. Then she appeared. Ethan didn't notice her at first, partly because she moved differently. Liara's presence was impossible to ignore. She was tall, slender, and walked with an elegance that seemed almost unnatural. Her skin had a soft iridescence, shifting colors with every movement. Her eyes were large and violet, glowing faintly in the dim light of the station. There was a quiet strength about her, and yet, when she smiled, the intensity softened into something warm and familiar. "Excuse me, human," she said, her voice melodic and slightly echoed as if carried by the station's artificial acoustics. Ethan turned and froze. "Yes," he replied, trying to mask the surprise in his tone. He had met many aliens before, but Liara's presence was unlike any he had encountered. There was no hint of threat, only curiosity and something else, something personal. Liara took a step closer, her gaze fixed on him. "What do I have to do to marry you?" Did she just ask him to marry her? "Come again," he asked, his voice cracking slightly, betraying his disbelief. "I said," she repeated, as if the question were the most natural thing in the universe, "what do I have to do to marry you, human?" "You want to marry me?" he asked, struggling to keep his voice steady. "Yes," Liara said simply. "If you agree, I will follow your customs. I will learn and I will adapt. But I need to know your answer." He decided to respond with what he thought was humor. "Come to Earth with me," he said. The words slipped out naturally, almost as if they were meant to be said. Liara tilted her head, studying him carefully. "I could do that. And then we can talk about marriage. We do our best." He had dealt with alien politics before, but nothing like this. Marrying an alien. It sounded exciting, yes, but dangerous too. And yet, he couldn't ignore the pull he felt toward her. There was something about her determination, her honesty, and her trust in him that made him want to rise to the challenge. "Then we'll figure it out," he said, his voice firmer now. "You come to Earth with me. That's all we need to do first. Humans are alive. We create, we destroy, we laugh, we cry. We make mistakes, but we also try. You'll see it yourself soon enough. I hope you like a little chaos." Her ship was unlike any human craft, sleek and shimmering, powered by technology Ethan could only dream of. She showed him her world through her stories, floating cities, oceans of liquid light, forests that sang with bioluminescent life. And he told her about Earth, his home, the people he loved, the food, the music, the endless skies. As they spoke, a bond began to form. It was not love yet, perhaps, but trust. There was respect, curiosity, and a quiet fascination. Ethan found himself thinking about her constantly, wondering how a creature from a faraway star could challenge his ideas, push his limits, and yet make him feel understood. Then came the first real test. Ethan and Liara were clearing the asteroid belt that surrounded Nereid, a routine passage for interstellar travelers. But pirates were known to patrol this sector, preying on ships transporting rare goods. Ethan noticed unusual readings on his sensors, an unidentified ship approaching at high speed. "Pirates," Ethan muttered under his breath. "Great, just what we need. Should I be afraid?" Ethan realized something in that moment. Humans were clever, yes, but humans were brave. And Liara, despite her advanced technology, was learning quickly from him. Together, they managed to outsmart the pirates, leading them into a dense asteroid field where their pursuers crashed into the rocks. When the danger passed, Ethan exhaled deeply. See, humans always find a way, he said, a grin spreading across his face. Liara's eyes sparkled. I can see why you are remarkable, not just because of your skill, but because of your courage, your quick thinking, and your willingness to act. That is what makes humans extraordinary. He asked about her people, their culture, their history. The more they shared, the more Ethan realized that Liara was not just beautiful or intelligent. She was curious, patient, and willing to see the best in humans even when he sometimes doubted it himself. By the time they approached Earth, Ethan felt a strange mix of excitement and apprehension. The journey had bonded them in ways he hadn't expected. He realized that asking her to come to Earth was not a joke anymore. It was a promise and a challenge. Liara, standing beside him on the observation deck of her ship, looked out at the blue and green planets spinning slowly beneath them. Your world is magnificent, she said softly. I am eager to see it closer. And I am ready to take the next step, human. If you are ready to show me, I will follow you. But one thing was certain. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. The stars beyond seemed to shine brighter, as if the universe itself was watching and approving. The journey from the space station to Earth was unlike anything Ethan had ever experienced. Though he had flown countless missions across the galaxy, this one felt different. Liara was beside him, navigating her own sleek, shimmering ship, and for the first time, Ethan felt a deep responsibility, not just for himself, but for her. She had trusted him with her freedom, and he could not afford to fail. The first few hours were quiet. They floated through the wormhole network that connected distant star systems, streaking past nebulas that glowed in brilliant colors. Ethan stared out at the swirling lights, remembering the first time he had seen Earth from orbit. There was nothing like the feeling of seeing a world from the vastness of space, small and fragile, yet alive and full of promise. Liara was silent at first, her eyes following every flicker of the stars. Then she spoke, her voice soft and curious. Ethan, your species travels alone through these tunnels often. But we also make mistakes, a lot of them. Sometimes we survive because of luck, not skill. Floating cities, oceans that glow with light, forests that sing. Is it true? You make humans sound heroic. Honestly, most of the time, we're just figuring things out as we go. Great, he muttered, just what we needed. Rocks the size of buildings tumbled through space, colliding with smaller debris that flew like deadly projectiles. Ethan steered his small craft with precision, weaving between the massive rocks. He could see Liara's ship mirroring his movements, her skill improving with every maneuver. You're learning fast, Ethan shouted over the comms, dodging another massive asteroid. Liara's voice was calm but focused. I am observing and adapting. Your species teaches me efficiency. Hours later, as they cleared the final debris, Ethan exhaled, sweat forming on his brow despite the zero gravity. We made it, he said, grinning. Humans always find a way. He realized that he did not want this journey to end, not because he was teaching her, but because he was learning from her too. Her perspective, her calmness, and her curiosity made him see his world differently. The next day, as they traveled closer to Earth, Liara began asking questions about human life on the planet. She wanted to understand the daily lives of humans, their culture, and their customs. Ethan explained the basics, the cities, the different countries, the food, the music, and even the sports. And humans fight often, she asked curiously. Sometimes, he admitted. But mostly we fight for survival, for justice, or to protect those we love. Not for personal gain, well, most of the time. Liara tried to understand, sometimes laughing genuinely, other times pausing to analyze the meaning. Ethan found it fascinating, how she could be both so intelligent and so eager to experience human simplicity. You find joy in small things, she observed one night as they floated through the dark expanse of space. Your species is clever in more ways than one. You survive through ingenuity and through laughter. To understand humans fully, and perhaps to understand why you asked me to come to your world. Each time, Ethan's skill as a pilot was tested, and each time, Liara adapted quickly, learning from him while offering her own advanced knowledge. It was during one such event, a sudden storm of space debris from a disintegrating comet, that Ethan realized just how much he had come to rely on her. Liara's ship glowed with an energy he did not fully understand, creating a protective barrier around both crafts. She guided them safely through the chaos, demonstrating not just skill but instinct and precision. "You saved us," Ethan said afterward, awe in his voice. "No," she corrected gently. "We saved each other. That is what your species calls partnership." "Something like that. I see why you fight for it. I see why you call it home. Liara, we might have company. Someone's coming." His mind raced. Could it be Liara's people? If it was, they might not approve of her traveling to Earth with a human. Liara noticed the tension in his expression. "Ethan, do not fear. Whatever comes, we will face it together." "Together? Your people, your world. It is unlike anything I imagined. Looks like we're about to find out who's curious about us." The journey to Earth had been a test of skill, courage, and trust, but the real challenges, the ones that would shape their lives forever, awaited them on the blue planet below. Ethan's heart raced as his ship pierced through the lower atmosphere. The familiar blue sky of Earth stretched endlessly above them, clouds drifting lazily over oceans and mountains. From orbit, Earth had looked beautiful, but now, approaching the surface, it seemed alive in a way that no picture or story could capture. The wind, the smell of rain and soil, the sounds of life, everything combined into a world brimming with energy. Beside him, Liara's eyes were wide with wonder. Her iridescent skin seemed to shimmer in the sunlight, reflecting the vibrant colors of Earth. She reached out instinctively as if trying to touch the planet itself. "It is more alive than I imagined," she said softly. "Your species, your people, they are connected to it, yes. I understand now why humans endure. You are shaped by your world, and yet you shape it in return." Ethan's stomach tightened. He had feared this. The approaching craft was not a simple patrol ship. Its design was sleek, alien, and purposeful. Whoever was aboard meant business. "They're not friendly," Ethan muttered. "Hold on. Right together. They do not approve of my travel. They insist I return immediately. Then let's make sure they understand why you chose Earth and humans." The two ships danced through the clouds, the sunlight glinting off their hulls, creating a display that no human had ever witnessed. Liara's ship mirrored his movements, her calm composure balancing his quick, reactive instincts. "You fight with skill," she said, her voice calm even in the chaos. "Your species is clever in conflict. That's the key." The pursuing ship followed, but its larger size made navigation difficult. Ethan led both ships through narrow passes, sharp turns, and sudden drops. Liara's quick thinking and Ethan's instincts created a perfect synergy, confusing the pursuers and gaining distance. Finally, they emerged over a vast forest, the alien ship's pursuit broken by the natural terrain. Ethan exhaled. "That should slow them down. Humans endure because of heart, determination, and cleverness. That is what I admire." The sight of trees, the rustle of leaves, and the smell of earth brought a strange sense of comfort to Ethan, grounding him after the chaos. Once on the ground, they stepped out together. Liara's feet touched the soil and she inhaled deeply, a smile spreading across her face. "It is alive," she whispered. "Your planet, it breathes. Home of chaos, beauty, and humans." They had not only tracked Liara, they had brought reinforcements. "Looks like the party isn't over," Ethan muttered. Liara's expression hardened. "My people, they insist I return, but I will not for them. I have chosen." From the largest ship, a figure emerged, a tall alien with regal bearing, sharp features, and eyes that glowed like hers. This had to be a leader, someone with authority. "Liara," the figure said, voice firm yet not unkind. "You must return immediately. Your actions endanger our people. Your association with a human cannot be allowed. I will not return. I am free to decide my own path. Liara has made her choice, and she will not be taken against her will. I am prepared to show them that a human is worthy, that my choice is valid. He explained the human concepts of choice, respect, and partnership. Liara reinforced his words, demonstrating her trust and admiration for humanity. Slowly, the tension eased. The leader, after much deliberation, acknowledged the sincerity of Liara's choice. Your species may indeed possess qualities worthy of consideration. Perhaps there is merit in your bond. But know this, our people will watch. Your actions will set precedent. Ethan looked around at Earth, the forests, rivers, and distant mountains. Welcome to your new home, Liara. This is just the beginning. The challenge had been greater than he imagined, but humans thrived in the face of adversity. And now, with Liara at his side, he felt that together they could face anything: alien politics, interstellar conflicts, or the mysteries of Earth itself. The sun began to set over the valley, casting golden light across the landscape. Ethan and Liara stood together, looking out at the horizon, knowing that their journey had only just begun. The real adventure, the blending of two worlds, two species, and two hearts, awaited them on Earth. And for the first time, Ethan felt certain that humanity, with all its imperfections and unpredictability, could rise to meet any challenge. Life on Earth was unlike anything Liara had imagined. The moment she stepped from her ship into the soft soil of the valley, she felt a strange sense of connection. The air was thick with scents of grass, rain, and earth. The sky stretched endlessly, painted with the soft orange and pink hues of sunset. It was beautiful, alive, and chaotic in ways her orderly world had never prepared her for. Ethan led her gently, pointing out trees, streams, and the distant mountains. "That's the river," he said. "It's a freshwater stream that winds through the valley. People fish here sometimes, but mostly it's for enjoying nature. Even water, even the smallest things breathe life here." Liara's appearance, her iridescent skin and violet eyes, were unlike anything they had seen before. But instead of fear, there was fascination. People wanted to see her, to talk to her, to understand her. Ethan noticed how she handled it. She was patient, curious, and kind. She asked questions, tried local foods, and even laughed at human jokes. Her fascination was genuine, and it was contagious. Wherever they went, Ethan felt the pride of a human not just surviving, but inspiring awe in someone from a faraway star. Liara was especially fascinated by human creativity. In one small city, she watched children drawing pictures in a park. "They create from nothing," she said softly. "They imagine, they make, and they give life to their ideas. We can build cities, travel to space, invent things, but we also make art, music, and stories. It's how we express ourselves. We can be messy, unpredictable, and stubborn, but yeah, I'll take it." Through it all, she saw humanity at its best, curious, resilient, and full of heart. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, Ethan and Liara sat by a campfire. The flames crackled, casting shadows on their faces. Liara looked at Ethan, her expression thoughtful. "You humans, you endure not because of strength alone, but because of heart. You protect, you love, you forgive, even when it is difficult. I see why you are remarkable. Because humans, they are alive in ways I cannot ignore." "My son has good taste," his mother whispered to him, smiling. Ethan grinned. "I told you, Mom, she's amazing." Ethan answered patiently, guiding her through the messy, beautiful reality of life on Earth. One day, as they explored a dense forest, they encountered a wildfire that had started from a lightning strike. Humans were already working to contain it, but it was dangerous. Ethan acted quickly, coordinating with firefighters and helping evacuate animals trapped by the fire. Liara used her technology to shield areas and create safe paths for people and wildlife. "You work well together," a firefighter said, astonished. "I've never seen technology like that in coordination with humans." "Your courage is not just physical," she said. "It is moral. You act because it is right, not because it is easy. That is what makes humans extraordinary. Children adored her, mimicking her graceful movements and asking endless questions about her home world. Liara answered patiently, taking joy in teaching them about other worlds and perspectives. Ethan noticed how humans and Liara affected each other. Humans became more curious, asking questions about the stars and their place in the universe. Liara began to understand the imperfections, resilience, and spirit that made humanity special. Their bond deepened, not just as teacher and student, or as alien and human, but as equals learning from each other. However, life on Earth was not without its challenges. News of Liara's presence spread quickly, attracting the attention of governments, scientists, and media. Authorities wanted to study her, understand her technology, and evaluate the potential threat. Ethan and Liara had to navigate this new reality carefully. Ethan taught Liara about diplomacy, negotiation, and the human ability to adapt to complex situations. Sometimes, you don't need to fight, he said. You need to explain, to show, to earn trust. That's how humans survive politically. I begin to understand your charm. And I'm glad you see it, Liara, because I want you to be part of it, to learn, to explore, and to live it with me. Liara would continue learning about Earth, while Ethan would prepare for potential challenges from her people. They knew the road ahead would not be simple. There would be misunderstandings, dangers, and obstacles. But they also knew that their bond, strengthened by trust, curiosity, and shared experiences, was strong enough to face anything. The days were filled with teaching, exploration, and preparation. Ethan showed Liara the wonders of human innovation, from space technology to simple tools used by farmers. Liara, in turn, shared knowledge of her world's advanced systems, energy manipulation, and philosophy. Together, they created a fusion of ideas, a blend of human resilience and alien sophistication. Liara learned to appreciate not just humans' physical abilities, but their moral courage, the ability to act when others hesitate, to fight for justice, and to persevere despite odds. She witnessed Ethan negotiate disputes, help strangers, and solve problems with ingenuity and compassion. Each moment reinforced her admiration and trust. One evening, as the stars rose above the valley, Liara looked up at the night sky. Your species, you do not merely survive, you inspire, you endure, you create meaning in chaos. Because humans, they are extraordinary. The sun set over the valley, casting a golden glow on the landscape. Ethan and Liara stood together, looking out at the horizon, feeling the weight of the world and the promise of the future. Their journey had brought them here to Earth, but the true adventure, the blending of worlds, the sharing of knowledge, and the building of trust, was only beginning. And for the first time, Ethan felt certain that humanity, with all its flaws and unpredictability, could rise to meet any challenge, especially when hearts were willing to learn, adapt, and stand together. The sun rose over Earth, casting soft light across the valley where Ethan and Liara had spent weeks exploring and learning. The world was alive with birdsong, the rustle of leaves, and the gentle flow of the river nearby. But today was not an ordinary day. Today, Liara would present her choice to her people. Today, she would decide whether to remain on Earth with a human or return to her world forever. Ethan stood beside her, feeling the weight of the moment. He knew that her decision had already been made in her heart, but the counsel of her people, far stronger and more powerful than anything on Earth, would not easily accept it. He held her hand, offering silent support. Liara's ship glimmered as it powered up for the journey to the meeting site. The council awaited her on a massive asteroid station near a binary star system, a place she had known since childhood. It was a place of judgment, tradition, and authority, where her words could shape the future of interstellar relations. "You are ready," Ethan said softly, squeezing her hand. Liara looked at him, her violet eyes steady. "I am. With you by my side, I fear nothing. Today, I will show my people that humanity is worthy, that my choice is rightful." When they entered the docking bay, council members observed them silently, their expressions unreadable. The council chamber was vast and circular, with tall figures surrounding the central platform. Liara stepped forward confidently, Ethan at her side. The leader, a figure taller and older than any Liara had seen, spoke first. "You have returned, Liara," the leader said, voice carrying authority and power. "And you bring a human with you. Explain yourself. Why do you defy tradition?" "I choose to remain with Ethan, to embrace his world, and to honor the bond I feel with him. This choice is not made lightly. It is made with sincerity, respect, and understanding." He knew that her strength would carry them through. The council leader raised a hand. "Humans are unpredictable. You claim to trust him, yet you expose yourself to danger, uncertainty, and instability. How can this be justified?" "Ethan has shown me courage, ingenuity, and heart. His actions reflect the best of your universe, even if his species is small in comparison. I trust him not because he is perfect, but because he is human, and that is remarkable." He had always believed in the ingenuity, courage, and compassion of humans, but hearing Lara praise them so sincerely made him feel proud in a way he had never imagined. The council deliberated for hours, questioning Liara, observing Ethan, and debating the precedent this union might set. Ethan remained quiet, only speaking when addressed, relying on Liara to guide the dialogue. She spoke with clarity, honesty, and humility, explaining her understanding of Earth, her admiration for humanity, and the depth of their trust. Finally, the council leader spoke. "Your choice is unprecedented. No Liara has ever chosen to remain with a human, yet your words and actions demonstrate insight, respect, and courage. Perhaps there is merit in this union. You shall remain, but know that your actions will be watched, and your responsibility is great. Enough to allow them to move forward, to build a life together, and to prove that humanity's ingenuity, courage, and heart were worthy of respect across the stars." Returning to Earth, the couple was greeted with a sense of calm and awe. Humans had seen glimpses of Liara's abilities and presence, but the approval of her people, even partial, sent ripples across governments, scientists, and civilians alike. Earth had never felt so alive with possibility. Liara's curiosity about humans continued to grow. She marveled at the ways people lived, learned, and built communities. Ethan guided her through cities, schools, and marketplaces, showing her the creativity, resilience, and heart of humanity. She watched people care for one another, solve problems, and overcome adversity, and she saw why Ethan had spoken so passionately of their strength. One day, as they walked along a riverbank, Liara turned to Ethan. "Your species is extraordinary. Not because of technology or strength, but because of heart. Humans endure because they care, because they act, because they create meaning in chaos. That is why I chose this path. That is why I trust you. Together, we're stronger." They were students and teachers to each other, learning, adapting, and growing together. Humans admired Liara, not just for her beauty or powers, but for her openness, humility, and curiosity. Scientists studied her respectfully, governments negotiated agreements to protect her, and ordinary people welcomed her into their communities. She became a bridge between worlds, a symbol of cooperation, trust, and courage. Ethan watched her interact with humans, marveling at her grace, intelligence, and warmth. "You're doing great," he said one evening as they watched children play under the setting sun. Liara smiled, reaching for his hand. "And you have guided me well. I am learning what it truly means to live among humans. I am learning why you endure, why you inspire, and why I chose this life." They relied on humanity's adaptability and Liara's insight to navigate conflicts and misunderstandings. One night, as stars glittered above the valley, Liara and Ethan sat together, reflecting on the journey. "We have come far," Liara said softly. "From a question on a space station to this, our life together on your world accepted by both our peoples. It is remarkable. It's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't change a thing. Humans endure, as you've seen, and now so do we together. Humans always find a way, and now so do we. Ethan continued to pilot, explore, and teach, but now with Liara as a partner, his perspective broadened and enriched. Their bond grew stronger with every passing day. Humans saw them as a symbol of hope, courage, and unity, proof that cooperation between worlds was possible, and that trust and respect could bridge even the vastest distances in the universe. Eventually, a ceremony was held to celebrate their union, attended by humans and representatives from Liara's people. It was simple yet profound, a symbol of trust, love, and mutual respect. Liara's people, still cautious, observed quietly, acknowledging the courage and determination of both Liara and Ethan. Humans cheered, applauded, and celebrated the couple who embodied the very best of two worlds. Liara looked at Ethan, her eyes filled with warmth. "This is not just a marriage," she said softly. "It is a union of worlds, of hearts, and of understanding. It is proof that humans are extraordinary. You've changed my life, Liara, and I hope I've shown you why humanity endures, why it inspires, and why it can be remarkable." Their journey had brought them across stars, tested their courage, and challenged their hearts. But it had also shown them the power of trust, the strength of humanity, and the beauty of choosing love against all odds. For the first time, Ethan felt truly certain that humanity, with all its flaws and unpredictability, could inspire, endure, and rise to meet any challenge. And now, with Liara by his side, he knew that together, they could face anything the universe had to offer. Their adventure had begun on a simple question in a distant space station. "What do I have to do to marry you, human?" And with courage, trust, and the heart of humanity, they had built a life that crossed worlds, inspired generations, and proved that love and bravery were the greatest forces in the universe. And so, beneath the endless sky of Earth, the human and the alien woman stood together, ready to face the future, ready to explore the unknown, and ready to show the universe the true strength and heart of humanity.